And thanks for joining us for Public Affairs on Peach. I'm CBS 46 political reporter Giovanna Dierpick. Once again, this session, religious freedom is a hot topic. The legislature passed it last year, but the governor vetoed it, in part due to outrage from companies like Coca-Cola and Home Depot. Donna Schultz is a proud stay-at-home mom, but she's also proud to call herself a Christian and supports Christian beliefs.
Treat everybody like a human, because that's what we're called to do. We're called to love one another.
She applies that philosophy when asked about the religious liberty bills, which Georgia lawmakers are expected to take up again this session. She says she doesn't favor anything that appears to discriminate.
That's not my role, is to place judgment on other people and their views, but I don't have to condone it.
To State Senator and Minority Leader Steve Henson, the religious liberty bills in the state send the wrong message and do the wrong thing.
The Religious Freedom Bill in Georgia was all about state money going to groups that discriminate.
I mean, nothing could be further from the truth. What this bill is about is making sure that people of every faith background get the same treatment in court that they get today when they deal with the federal government.
But State Senator Josh McCoon, one of the most vocal proponents of the religious liberty bill, says it's about making sure that state law is on par with federal law.
I think we're coming together on it because I think we've seen what's happened in other states, and we want our state to thrive.
For Schultz, she just hopes Georgians will unite, not divide, after seeing what the general debate has done in other states. And the sponsor of that bill, Republican State Senator Josh McCoon, is with us now. Senator McCoon, what do you think is the biggest misconception regarding this bill?
I think the debate, unfortunately, has gotten away from us in terms of this discussion about florists and bakers and folks that are in the wedding industry. That's not what Religious Freedom Restoration Act legislation is about.
In simplest terms, explain it.
It is about the standard when you go to court and sue the government because you believe the government's infringing on your religious freedom. A recent example, Georgia State University professor tells a young Muslim student, Nabila Khan, that her wearing a veil in the classroom violates Georgia's Anti-Mask Act. He actually tells her you're committing a crime by doing that. If we had a Religious Freedom Restoration Act, and Ms. Khan went to court, the government would have to show first that there's a compelling state interest in making her remove that veil, and that the Anti-Mask Act is the least restrictive means of achieving that interest. That's all it does. It's a legal standard.
Now, Governor Deal had said Georgia is a welcoming state, we're tolerant, we welcome people, and it goes against the character of who we are.
Well, I would say that when we have an existing law where a Georgia state employee, in this case a professor, feels empowered to tell a young Muslim woman away from home for the first time that her faith tradition is not only wrong, but that observing it is a crime, that we have a significant problem. And I don't think any of us would say that that is inclusive or welcoming.
The LGBTQ community feels that it's under attack because of this. What do you tell them?
I ask, we're not blazing any new ground with this legislation. 31 other states have this bill. The federal government's had it in place since 1993. I've challenged every opponent to show me a case anywhere in the country where an LGBT person has been mistreated because of RFRA. And in the 3 years we've been having this debate, going on 4 now, not a single case has been brought to my attention of RFRA being used in some way to mistreat anyone.
What if they say perhaps it's not a specific case, but it's the overall tone?
Well, I think the tone is that we believe free exercise is an important human right, just like free speech, free press, and free association. Those protections of the First Amendment get the standard that RFRA gives for free exercise cases. This is really about a mistake that was made by the Supreme Court in 1990. Congress fixed it in 1993, but for us to do it at the state and local level, we have to pass our own bill. But all this does is send a message that free exercise belongs in that same space with free speech, free press, and free association.
North Carolina took a lot of heat for its so-called bathroom bill. Do you think there was a lot of misconceptions regarding that as far as the economic impact to Georgia once they saw what was going on in North Carolina?
Yeah, there's been a great deal of confusion about this. First of all, the legislation we've been trying to pass here does not invalidate local non-discrimination ordinances. The North Carolina law did. But secondarily, if you're talking about the economy, Governor Deal likes to talk about Site Selection magazine ranking Georgia as the #1 place to do business. They recently came out with their 2016 ranking. Georgia was #1, North Carolina was #2. So the notion that any legislation in this space creates a harmful business environment is just not supported by the facts.
But if he says that, okay, we could still experience backlash from people who say it just doesn't go along with what we believe in generally, the message it's sending to people.
Well, I think what we have to do as a legislature is send Governor Deal a bill that mirrors the 1993 Religious Freedom Restoration Act. We did not do that last year. And if we do that this year, that's the bill that Governor Deal he voted for in Congress, and he's repeatedly said he would sign. And I think that's what we need to do.
Okay, sounds good. And Georgia became a state on January 2nd, 1788. A little bit of history for you. Well, when Public Affairs on Peach returns, you're going to meet a lawmaker who's achieved a first 229 years later. Stay with us.